While we're talking about cinematography, let's discuss framing your shots. Now, if you're a director of photography, you use a vocabulary that describes the shots and the setups that you're going to do that's honored throughout the industry over time, a certain lexicon of abbreviations that refer to the setups that you want your camera operator to have given what your director wants to focus on. So, when we look at framing our shots here, let's look at the basic camera shots. Here we have an extreme wide shot where you don't really see the object of interest very clearly, but you do get the context, the establishing shot for everything. And then in the wide shot, you do see the person in the full length shot. And all I'm going to say is the extreme wide shot and the wide shot in the industry, usually it's a extreme long shot. And then for the wide shot, we call it a long shot. And then when we get the medium shot, then it's the same medium shot, medium close up, and extreme close up. Another way of looking at it with abbreviations, here we have the extreme wide shot where you don't really see the person, but you do see the context. And like I say, it's not XWS for us, it's usually XLS, and then the wide shot is usually LS. And we begin to see the person emerge in the full length, and then we see from the knees up in a medium wide shot, in a medium shot from below the shoulders up, and then the head for a medium close up, and then a close up with the head. If we want to know the abbreviations, then here we have our little man, our little tchotchke man, giving us the abbreviations of XLS and LS, and all the way up to XCU. So it's extreme long shot to long shot, all the way to extreme close up. Here's a good example. I would say this is a good heuristic or measure to look for when you look at shots. If you just want a reference sheet, your full shot would be again from the ankles and feet up, all the way to the whole person, and then your medium full would be around the knees and below, going up, and then your medium shot is right below the waist. And we usually call it in the business, we call it cowboy shot for the obvious reason. That's where your holster is, and that's where your guns are, just a little on the waist, but a little below. So we call it cowboy shot if you're doing that. And if you're going to the waist and a little bit above, it's a medium close shot. And then below the shoulders on up, it's a close shot. And the head is a close up. And if you're doing the eyes, it's an extreme close up. Here we have an XLS. Extreme long shot, establishing shot from last year at Marion Bad. It's a very famous establishing shot. You have the people practically the same size as the topiary that leads to a vanishing point, but we really don't have any character there yet. This is an extreme long shot. And if you want a long shot, you've got the Magnificent Sevens, where we can discern the people. We've got Yul Brynner leading the horsemen into the shot, and he's dominating the horizon line, and they're taking some kind of form and dominance there. So this is a long shot, and I thought I'd pull up a rather iconic and famous medium shot, which establishes the cowboy shot. This is John Wayne's being picked up by the stagecoach. This is John Wayne's introduction as a star. This is the movie that made him a star. John Ford's Stagecoach, and this is where he's being picked up. And you can see that in the background with Monument Valley framing him and giving some depth and everything. But this is a cowboy shot from below the waist up. And cowboy shots, of course, used all the time. And this one from the other viewpoint, this is the victim's viewpoint, cowboy shot with the gun out and the people looking at him as he slides off the bar. Or a 1950s three-shot movie here with everybody figuring their cowboy moves. It's all about the waist. And what a cowboy shot does for people who are trying to frame the shot, it gets the audience in the shot. It's as if we're another character. The thing about a long shot, an extreme long shot, we're not really in the movie so much, but any movie that cuts above the knee and shows the people, it means that it's almost like it's drawing us in. So it's a very involving shot. So it draws us in, but doesn't make us too intimate. So it's like we're part of the scene. And here, of course, is a cowboy shot where the handles of the pistols demarking the cowboy shot, the modern version of your cowboy shot. And of course, if we go from your medium close up, you've got the famous scene from The Great Train Robbery, 1903, one of the first scenes where we got the old gun pointing at us, and apocryphally they said the audience ducked because it didn't know if it was real or not. But anyway, this is your below the shoulder shot up, which you can see again later, more recently with Dirty Harry movie, Clint Eastwood occupying the upper right third very well, and doing a basic medium close up of shoulders up. And look at the use of the wire in the background, the way it divides a space to give us more depth, dividing space behind Clint and the building, giving us a little more depth that might be flattened if you didn't have that wire in the shot. And of course we have the close-up shot here, Clint Eastwood in Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and he's looking at the other two gunmen, one of which is Eli Wallach in his close-up shot, sliding his eyes over to Lee Van Cleef, who's sliding his eyes back. They're all drawn on each other, and this is an extreme close-up, of course, and this is Lee Van Cleef's close-up. But the most iconic close-up of our time, of course, is Hannibal Lecter in his eyes occupying the perfect upper thirds of this frame. Now, when we're going to do a horror movie, we want to do establishing shots. This is one we can get anywhere in Albuquerque, or not anywhere, but this is your good establishing shot. I'd say this is a good XLS for a horror movie, this underground parking lot. Okay, we're going to look now at two different movies, and we're going to compare the shots in these two different movies. We're going to have we're going to compare Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick's movie they made in 1999, and A Summer Tale made by Eric Rohmer in 1996. And we'll illustrate the range of uses for this shot scale that I just described. Here we've got an extreme long shot, establishing shot here. Kubrick's using the ballroom mainly as a transition between two more important scenes. But if we look at the shot that Eric Rohmer has, he's got a locale, basically introduces the characters, but we don't really see the characters. We see one of the characters emerging there towards the middle of the frame, but the two shots basically are shot. They can be shot from a crane or a jib, but they're really established in the long frame. But if we go to the next shot, the figures in this next shot are about 4 or 5 feet high, almost fill the screen vertically, and we can see in Eyes Wide Shut we've got Cruise leaving the apartment, and so this is I wouldn't even say it's a long shot. It's kind of like a medium shot, as is with this Eric Rohmer shot here, which is the figures emerge from the long shot, emerge from the background shot. It's we don't see the feet, but it's a medium long shot of the person. And going to the next shot, we've got, I'd say, our cowboy shot for this sequence here. We've got Cruise and Kidman walking down the hallway here from just below the waist up, and establishing them more as people we're going to be interested in, as well as these two people in Rohmer's movie, where again the cowboy shot from the knees up, they're meeting. It's a 2 shot, and we're part of the scene. We feel like we're on the beach with them now. And as we get close to the medium close up here in Eyes Wide Shut, it's not only that we're part of the shot, we might be another one of the dancers here. It's almost as if we're about ready to interrupt them. We're that close in the shot. It's very intimate, but not interior-wise. It's intimate in the sense that they're acquaintances, but we really don't know what they're thinking. Here, again, medium close-up, where you do this in reverse shots all the time, where she's looking at us, and this is our introduction to her, and we're getting to know her for the first time. And when we get to the close-up, that's when we're talking about your intimate, almost internal look at a person. The eye is the window of the soul. Most used shots in all movies, of course, close-ups. And so here we have one occupying a third of the space, the real thirds very well, and here the Rohmer close-up showing some negative space to the person he's talking to. And here we have Janet Leigh from Psycho. In our horror theme, I thought we should always kind of refer back to Psycho. And she's got their close-up here. And here's a close-up of an insert of something important to the movie, but not necessarily a person, but still a close-up of a symbolic flowers drifting in a bowl here. So we can then go to extreme close-up, which if we didn't have Lee Van Cleef's eyes, we have the mouth here. But it's whatever feature we're picking on the face that doesn't include the whole face, we can call it extreme close-up. And one thing I want to mention now is the headroom. Earlier on, I think in the other lectures we talked about negative space, but we really didn't go on about headroom. And headroom means that we need to have enough space from the top of the frame to the top of the head so that it doesn't seem like the head's being chopped off. So I always want to leave a little headroom. So this is a shot showing us the use of headroom that means that we're not going to chop his head off, and we're not going to diminish his head so there's too much headroom. It's just about the right amount. And here is a two-shot. We know a two-shot is an example. We don't need two people in a two-shot. Two-shot just means that the two objects of our focus can be both balanced, and they can be at the lower thirds here. This is one person in a mirror, but it accomplishes the same thing in a two-shot. Those lower thirds are dominant, and we're using it as is here in this two-shot. Now this two-shot, we are using a wide-angle lens so that we bring in the foreground closer and we're blurring the background to give us some depth. But this two-shot obviously includes both people.